Thank you.
Thank you. What a performance. I was expecting more enthusiasm after that. Thank you, Naleli. That was a beautiful performance. And I think this puts back into motion. And as we have talked today, I think as I've said this afternoon, we're hoping for more engaging sessions. But now, to move it back into the purpose on the youth, we cannot go further, as Honorable Minister Prote has also mentioned. We also need that leadership. We need the professional and personal expertise. We have talked about capacity building. We have talked about the different ways of engaging the youth, but also through political engagement, ownership, and services. We're going to host a panel that will be followed. It's a panel, the title is Professional and Personal Transformation Through Service. This is going to be chaired by Moses Kofi. Ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests. And as Kofi comes on stage, Mr. Kofi comes on stage, allow me to just tell you a little bit. He is one, first of all, I'm very enthusiastic to be presenting Mr. Kofi, but with a few that I've been able to understand or know about this man, he's a true champion of effective leadership, development, and transformative change. Moses Kofi is a director of CorpsAfrica Ghana. With an impressive background and wealth and experience, Moses has embarked in a remarkable journey that has shaped his path to leadership and service. But just at the tip of the iceberg, when it comes to Moses' exceptional career, he has left an indelible mark on various sectors and organizations, demonstrating his versatile and deep-rooted passion for making a positive impact, which cannot be shared by anyone else other than Kofi today. And he's also the founder and managing consultant, Leaders Mentors International. He's dedicated and himself nurtures and guides aspiring leaders into paving the way to success. Thank you so much for welcoming Mr. Kofi one more time. He's also going to welcome the panelists. Can I have another round of applause? Just more energy, if you may. Thank you so much. You're welcome, Moses.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you very much, Krista. For a moment, I was asking whether it was me. This afternoon, we are coming to hear interesting stories about how our volunteers have been transformed by their CorpsAfrica experience. And so to help me share these stories, help me invite upstage from the land of diversity and delicious dishes, Fatiha from Morocco. And then from the land of the Teranga Lions, Mansour from Senegal. from the warm heart of Africa. Tusayuwe, Malawi. And then, again from the land of the Teranga Lions, Senegal, a special, let me call him a special case, Mama D. And finally, from our hosts, the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, Alumni. Good afternoon to you all, and thanks for being here to hear our stories. When we were preparing for this session, I was reminded by how our sociology lecturer way back in school, university, introduced his lectures. He would come to the class, pull out a sheet of paper or a newspaper, and I can remember him reading something like this. On the 16th page of the Weekly Spectator, there's a story about a little child who was rescued from a lioness that had nurtured him. Apparently, this little child had been abandoned by the mother for whatever reason. A lioness at the time had given birth to cubs and saw this child and started nurturing and feeding this child like its other cubs. At the time that the child was rescued from the lioness, he was feeding like just the other cubs, the breast of the mother of the lioness. She was walking on all fours, just like the other cubs, and behaving very much like the other cubs, playing with them, just like a cub. Then he finished by saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, our topic for today, socialization." As we go into our stories this afternoon, I'd like you to keep the moral of this particular story at the back of your minds, all right? And we'll hear the real life stories of our volunteers who have been out there doing it, experiencing it, and telling us how these have impacted their lives. At this point in time, I would invite each of my guests here to introduce themselves. These are young adults, so I'm not going to introduce them. Let's start from Fatiha.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you all. Thank you, CorpsAfrica, for bringing us all together to reconnect with our siblings from our beloved continent. Thank you, Rwanda, for showing us the beauty of Africa through hospitality. So for those who I didn't get the chance, for those I didn't get the chance and the honor to meet and to mingle with, so I'm Fatiha from Morocco. I served last year, so I'm new. So cohort 6, 2021, 2022. I'm currently working with an international organization running projects and programs all over the world, like not all over the world, but like many countries all over the world. And currently running a program called HACL, High Atlas Cultural Landscapes in High Atlas. So the program aims to promote biodiversity conservation and sustainable livelihood. Before joining CorpsAfrica, I got Fulbright scholarship. So when I came back, I just decided it's time for me to give back to my community. And here I am, proudly CorpsAfrica family member. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mansour. I serve as a CorpsAfrica volunteer in 2018-2019 in Senegal for the cohort 3. And I think it's the best cohort that CorpsAfrica never had in Senegal. Thank you, guys. I'm working with an organization called Mercy Ships. The Mercy Ships organization give access to healthcare for some African countries. And in this organization, I'm working with a program called Food for Life, where I'm a country coordinator, and we train young adults in Senegal in agroecology, in sustainable development, in processing food, and in entrepreneurship. And in this program, we already trained 7 CorpsAfrica alumni. And after getting my BA degree in community development, I was looking for opportunity to gain experience. And in 2017 till 2018, I didn't get opportunity. And it's quite difficult for people to trust young people because we don't have experience, so we can get a position as an assistant project or something like that. And CorpsAfrica was, for me, an opportunity to gain this experience and to serve as a volunteer. And one relevant thing that I want to share, after volunteering with CorpsAfrica and working with Mercy Ships with the program Food for Life, the last year in 2022, I was selected for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. It's a program of the State Department, and I was learning leadership in business in Drake University in Des Moines, Iowa. And thank you.
Thank you. To say it.
Hi, everyone. Wow, so many people. It's kind of scary, but getting used to it. So I'm Tusa. My full name is in the little booklet that we've all been given. I'm from Malawi. I served in the first cohort. That was in 2016, 2017. So I feel quite old, you know, being here with the other volunteers. But yeah, so I'm currently working with Action Aid Malawi as a policy coordinator, and also coordinating the Valuing Women's Work project, which is being funded by the Hewlett Foundation. The idea behind this project is just to make sure that governments and the public at large in Malawi understand that unpaid care work is work and should be valued, and also to just get women to understand their rights and how to question, young women specifically, how to question the government when it comes to policies and things like that that affect women and girls. So that's the idea behind the project. I also founded an organization, Equitas, which focuses on reducing inequalities, and I'm not sure if I should continue.
Yeah, let's hold on a second. I
Yes.
think they're receiving the special guest. Thank you.
Great. Yes, that was a nice break. I also founded an organization called Equitas, which focuses, basically the idea is equity, equal resources for women and the youth. So we focus on reduced inequalities and gender equality. I'm not sure if I've missed out something. I've covered everything. Thank you.
I'm a guru. I'm a guru. Thank you, guys. My name is Mamadi. This is my core African name because all core African countries call me Mamadi. Thank you for that. I'm a training officer in CorpsAfrica, Senegal. I was a volunteer in Senegal with the first cohort. We call ourselves the pioneers in Senegal. Where are the alumni of the first cohort in Senegal? Thank you so much. And then after my service in Senegal, I was working as a junior consultant for more than 1 year. But having the source of the field, I left that work to join Morocco as an exchange. مساء الخير. مساء الخير خويا. مساء الخير اختي. شكرا بزاف. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank CorpsAfrica for giving us this opportunity to serve our country. My name is Aline. I just served in the first cohort of CorpsAfrica. It was in 2019 to 2020. So I'm currently working at the Rwanda Food and Drugs Authority as Food and Drug Port of Entry Inspection Specialist, where we ensure the quality of food and its safety for both import and export. So I currently finished my master's in the food security in the United Kingdom under the scholarship of Chevening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A few years ago, these people were volunteers like most of you here. Today, they are working in very meaningful places. I want them to tell us, how have you transformed from your volunteer service days to now? What changes have you seen in yourself that you can attribute especially from the experiences you had as a CorpsAfrica volunteer? Let me start with Fatiha.
Talking about growth leads us to talk about two sections, like professional and personal growth or development. I personally, before joining CorpsAfrica in my earlier career, I worked with the local NGOs, but I didn't have the chance to practice skills. During my service, I have this space to experience and to put into practice the new skills like management, project management, project coordination. So I had the chance to lead workshops about women empowerment, leading, facilitating workshops for local farmers. And also, one of the main achievement for me is grant writing, because it was really an opportunity for me to write a grant. It was my first time doing that actually. So, and yeah, we got about $6,000 to implement the project providing water for using solar energy, so that women would not have to go to fetch water for hours and focus on their businesses and also literacy sessions. So this was if we're talking about the professional growth. Talking about the personal one, actually I'm a bit shy. I used to be shy. I'm still a bit, but so I still remember when I have a meeting with the community, and about 25 to 30 of them are just men. So culturally speaking, it's a bit, like a young lady leading the meeting. I was really nervous, and I had to all the time asking my host sister to accompany me. But by the time, it just have my communication skills, and just I can do that. And I remember once I had fixed the dates with them. And so it was 7 p.m., so we should have a meeting at 7 p.m. I was waiting for 3 hours, hungry, angry, all these emotional things. So, and then the other day, I just discovered that they had a football match. And to be honest, I took it personally. It's why? Just I feel it personally. So the other meeting, I just decided to invite them to a cup of tea. Tea is really a common, famous drink in Morocco. So just invited them to a cup of tea, watch the match with them, even I'm not interested in it. I don't watch football matches. And just be more flexible, adaptable with the situation. And yeah, so just discover these things and develop it during the service.
Thing.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like to, in fact, let's put our hands together for her. She said something. She said she worked somewhere. She didn't get the opportunity to practice the things she was learning, but then in CorpsAfrica, she got the opportunity to. All right. When we come back to you again, you tell us why getting the opportunity to do it, all right, doing it makes a difference for you. Let me go to Mamadi. All right. Tell us about your experiences of growth.
Okay. First of all, in Senegal, we have 2 master's degrees, Master 1 and Master 2. I was doing my Master 1 in local development engineering, and as the job, the result was available, I see my name. And the day after, I called the Regional Agency of Development, considering myself as an engineer. I said, I have my diploma, I need a job. You have to give me a job. And they say, how come? We have a lot of people here looking for internship, they cannot have it. If you want, you just come and have internship. I went there thinking that, yeah, I will be the boss or showing them the way. Yeah. When I come, they ask me, what do you know? I know a lot of things about development. And they ask me, what you can do? And I was thinking about my lessons, all my theoretical lessons. And you know why? I stayed there for 1 month. What I have to do is just writing minute of meetings or reports, nothing else. And I say, one day will come, I should be at the place of these guys. And after that, when I went back to the university for my Master 2, I saw the opportunity of CorpsAfrica. As I'm passionate of community development, I joined CorpsAfrica. I joined CorpsAfrica. Personally, I was so shy, introvert. It was a big problem for me to speak instead of an audience. At the same time, I didn't have a lot of skills, knowledge, but I worked with CorpsAfrica and learned a lot, learned from the community. After my service, 1 month left of my service, I get a job. They call me and ask me, what did you do with CorpsAfrica? How can you show me? And during my services, CorpsAfrica staff trained me in writing, in everything, in project management, and the things I have learned from the community. And I bring my proposal to show it to the structure which was recruiting me. And they said me, you can start today. I said, no. I have to finish my service. I have 1 month left. They say, we can wait for you. 1 month after I joined them, I worked with them. I worked more than 1 year there. And one day, my boss was in the US. The day she came, I said, my boss, I think this is not my place. I think the field is my place. I need more knowledge. I have to go for an exchange program. And from that day, I went to Morocco. I went to Morocco, learned international knowledge because I needed it. And because of the job I did there, and thanks to the training of the Morocco staff, before the end of my service, the former CorpsAfrica director recommended me to a former Peace Corps volunteer who wanted to start a small NGO in Senegal. And I started working with that guy. Since the day, I applied for CorpsAfrica to be a volunteer liaison. And CorpsAfrica showed me the passion, the love of going ahead, learning a lot of things. I traveled so many countries to train some people, to learn through TOTs, how to train in ABCD, HCD. And then CorpsAfrica has an application about training officer. I apply and join CorpsAfrica as a trainer. Thank you so much.
Put our hands together for him. I believe one key lesson that Mamadi is pointing out here is that it's good to have a certificate, but you cannot depend too much on your certificate to get a job. All right? Most employers would be asking, have you done it before? All right, what experience do you have? And obviously, volunteering, like has been said here earlier today, and volunteering like the CorpsAfrica service is a great opportunity to go do it with your hands. Right, Aline, let's hear your story.
Thank you very much. For me, I can say it's like 2 points that I want to talk about. The first one is that CorpsAfrica has helped me to shape my career path. When I just did biotechnology in my undergrad, but when I finished it, I didn't know where to go or where to start on the market. But with CorpsAfrica, I had an opportunity of working on the malnutrition project in the Ngororero district, which we have successfully implemented. And with that project in mind, and with other challenges that I faced during my service, has awakened me the passion of liking something related to food. And also that service has shown me different issues and challenges that my country was facing about food insecurity. So with that passion in me, after I finished CorpsAfrica, I have, because I had in mind what I want. So I directly applied for my current job at Rwanda Food and Drugs Authority. And with that experience from CorpsAfrica, I didn't have any other experience aside from that. So it also helped me to get my first job. I think we went on the interview, we were about 2,000 applicants on the interview. Many of them were fresh graduates and others had experience. And for me, I think the experience I got from CorpsAfrica has helped me to be selected among all those applicants. And also the other thing I can say, it also improved my leadership skills. Because when you volunteer at the rural area, you face different challenges. You have to bring all the community members to work with the local government, with the headquarters, with the office, just to bring them together for the common goals. So it was not easy as a fresh graduate, but with the CorpsAfrica, we had different training. I think we had the 3 in-service, pre-service, in-service, and post-service. Those training has really helped me to grow professionally, especially in my leadership skills. And as a result, after 1 month of my service, I was selected as a young African leader to participate in that program in Nairobi for 4 months. And after only 1 year and a half, I was selected on the competitive program called Chevening Scholarship, where they select young leaders wherever in the world. So I can say that I owe all those to CorpsAfrica.
Thank you. Shall we hear from Tusa Iwe? Tusa.
Tusa is fine.
Yeah.
Tusa is fine.
If you can mention probably 3 areas that you think you've seen growth in your life, especially from the service.
Yeah, so I'll start with, I'm just going to take you back a bit to give backstory. I remember meeting with Liz. I remember applying to the CorpsAfrica application when they were opened. And this had been sent to me by a friend because he knew that I like to serve. So it's something that I've been doing for a while. And when I got the email that Liz wanted to meet with me in Malawi, I was very nervous and I wasn't sure what I was going to say to her. It was the first opportunity that had finally opened up and then been called for an interview. It was more of a meeting than an interview, but I was still scared because I'd only been out of university for less than a year and I got this course. So when I went to meet with Liz, I was literally shaking. I remember my dad dropped me off at Capital Hotel, the hotel in Lilongwe, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say to her. I don't have experience. I did have a little bit of experience in serving, but still I felt that it wasn't enough. So when I met with Liz, and she was just really lovely, and she said she would vouch for me to the country director whom she was going to hire so that I could get on the program. And I did. So moving forward, when we went to PST, I was still very shy, like most my fellow alumni here. I was shy, quite reserved as compared to the others. And there was a point I told Adam Gaskins, the director then, that I couldn't do it, that I wanted to go home because I was scared. And believe it or not, I cried. I laugh about it now, but I cried because I felt I wasn't ready. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't stand in front of people to speak. So one of the things that I have grown in is public speaking. I was actually also nervous before I came on stage, and I talked to a few people like, oh, you're going to be fine, you know, because this is a large group of people, and this is my first time doing this. So they said, you're going to be fine, and I was like, okay, I believe that I'm going to be fine. So one of the things is public speaking. The other thing is perseverance. Again, midway through, or even at the very beginning of my service, I felt that I couldn't handle the heat in the community I was living in because it was a whole new community, different weather, different housing type, and no air conditioning or no ceiling to cover the heat, and I just couldn't handle the heat at night. And so I told my family that I was going to give up, that I was going to go home. But I remember them saying, both my parents, surprisingly, oh, Tusa is not going to be able to do it. They were telling my sister this. Tusa is not going to be able to do it. She's going to come back. She's going to take the bank job offer that she got at one of the banks in Malawi. And because I remembered this, I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to stick through this, whatever the case is, and I'm going to find out what I can do to get through this heat and other challenges that I was facing. And there were other challenges with community members as well, and there was a time that they wanted to move me out of my site. But I said, you know what, I can't keep running from problems. I need to learn how to solve these problems. So problem solving was one of the things that I grew in, being able to stand in whatever situation I am in that I know I can handle. And something also recently happened at my workplace at ActionAid, which it was quite daunting and it was quite stressful, but I was able to stay on and say, you know, I'm going to handle this, I'm going to report this. That's the other thing, being expressive, expressing what it is that I'm not dealing well with. Because I think that's something that as youth we're not able to do. We feel like we should keep things to ourselves. And so on a personal level, I learned how to share, how to express myself, and also choosing who to express myself to freely. Yeah, so that's what I learned through and how I grew through CorpsAfrica. Thank you.
Does this lady look like somebody who's shy? Right, now, usually we all go through these things, but the storm will pass and we'll get over it. Mansour, tell us a couple of things, areas that you think you've really developed.
My experience with CorpsAfrica allow me to understand that I can achieve everything that I want to do. Because during my service, I had two projects. The first one is a peanut unit processing into oil, and the second one is the renovation of 2 classrooms. And doing these 2 projects are for me, like, it's something big. And I realized that I can do everything I want. And then I have 3 activities during my service. I put in place a nursery bed of 500 trees that we reforest at the end of my service. And then we organized, for the first time in my village, the International Women's Rights, and we turned women in processing food, especially hibiscus, and then we train them in how they can fertilize the soil. And all of these activities really make me understand that I can do everything that I want. I have determination to do things, and I develop my self-confidence. Secondly, I develop development leadership and also project management skills, because all of these projects, I write them in my community with a kind of group that we organized in my village, and they helped me to write the project and then to submit it to CorpsAfrica. And all of these things allow me to understand that I can do everything that I want. I was working also with 2 Peace Corps volunteers during my service, and then like I do know with them that I can, how can I say, I can work with people, with my community also. We was working together to achieve our goal. And finally, I was working on, developing my communication skills, because before to come to CorpsAfrica, it was hard for me to be in front of people and to talk. And then when we did the activities with the 2 Peace Corps volunteers, it was so difficult for me to communicate with them. And then I was like in Google Translation trying to translate some words and to explain them what I want to do. And then right after my service, I found an opportunity in the US Embassy of Dakar, and they provide some activities like conversation club and screening, and I started going there. And CorpsAfrica allowed me to understand also during my service that I have to work if I want to achieve my goal. And then when I was there, the first Wednesday, I was like in a circle like that, and the person who animated this activity asked me to read a paragraph. And when I was reading, I read the paragraph, and then she asked me to read, if I want to read again or if I want to explain with my own words. It was like, I didn't understand what, I didn't understand what she said. And then she asked me the question twice, and then in the third time, I didn't understand. Okay. And then the next Wednesday, I'm again in this activity. And after reading, she asked me the same question. 1 time, I didn't understand. 2 times, I didn't. The third time, something in my head said, Mansour, this woman want to say that she wants you to read this paragraph or to explain with your own words. I don't know if it was you guys what you will choose, because for me, I choose to explain with my own words. You can imagine like someone who can't, express himself correctly, choosing to explain this paragraph with his own words. This made me realize I have determination to achieve my goal, and this I get it from CorpsAfrica.
Thank you. One of the things we learned in this morning's session is that we need to be able to step up. All right, let's overcome the fear of stepping up to the plate. Many times we believe we know certain things. All right, but I think most of the time the best tests or evidence of you knowing something is when others see it in you, rather than you say, I'm like this. You can say that I know how to play football, but rather let the outside world say it. I interviewed a potential exchange volunteer last week, and I asked him, do you have a girlfriend? So I said, are you married? He said, no. I said, do you have a girlfriend? He said, yes. I said, what does your girlfriend think about you leaving your country and coming to stay in Ghana for 1 whole year? And he burst out laughing. And he said this. He said, you know something? Only last week, my girlfriend told me that I have improved in every aspect of my life. He said, you have improved in every aspect of your life. And so he believes that if he's going to Ghana for yet another service for CorpsAfrica, he'll come back a better person, and his girlfriend would marry him. So now, tell me, what have important people in your lives seen, all right, in you after your service in CorpsAfrica? Don't explain too much. Just tell me 2 things, each of you. Let's start from Fatiha. What other people, important people in your life, significant people, what have they seen in your life?
So as I told you before, I'm an introvert. So I used to be. So a bit shy, a bit timid. I don't I don't see myself like starting a conversation. So during the service, I had to deal with this. So I don't have another choice, you know. I have to lead meetings, I have to talk with people, I have to include all the components of the community and the inclusion of the community. So by time I become more like confident speaking to people, I become more confident to take initiatives because you know during the service we had also to not just lead in the workshops but also to knock the door, if you can say, to collect funds for our projects. So you should take the initiative. You should just go and present yourself and say, hey, this is me, and do this and do this. So by the time just like become a bit extrovert of me just came out, and here I am enjoying my social networking skills with these beautiful souls.
And your family testifies to that?
Yes, my mom.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Aline, can you tell us 2 things that people say about you?
Okay, thank you. The first things that my family told me about is that I increased the empathy and understanding, and even my communication skills has increased. Because before joining CorpsAfrica...
Let's not go into too much explanation. Just tell me 2 things this
Okay, it was just increasing empathy and understanding.
Mamadi?
For me, it's the humility. I can say that I was not so humble at the very beginning. I consider myself like someone who knows everything. I was not a learner. The other thing is patience. I was not patient. When I wanted something, I wanted to reach it quickly. Okay, thank you.
I'm with Mamadi on this. Patience. I am more patient than I was before. If I say we're meeting at 3 and you're late by 5 minutes, it's a big deal. But I'm better now. And the other, like I said earlier on, is being more expressive in a way that people can understand me better. Yeah, thank you.
Mansu, just 2 things that people see.
Okay, the first thing is my family told me that I don't have problem with to eat something because of my side. When you are in your side, you eat everything that you see. It's okay. And the second thing is I start listening people. I can stay here for 1 hour to listen people to tell me their problems and we discuss.
Wow. For those who are not, have not had the CorpsAfrica volunteer experience, what our friends here are sharing are real. They're not stories. They are real. Humility, patience. The job teaches you to just learn that. You can't go into a community and try to tell the community what to do. And this morning it was reflected in our discussion. You have to learn to listen. These are real, okay? It was our intention to invite a couple of questions, but we are being mindful of time. I would like to ask each of our panelists to tell us if they are selling CorpsAfrica to youth that they know, what would you tell them? Let's start from Fatiha.
Definitely, you don't want to miss something, a great opportunity to reconnect with yourself and to discover yourself through helping others, and also please give to receive. So this is really 2 messages that I want like the youth to know about, like CorpsAfrica messages.
Great. Mansu?
There is a quote that make me realize that there is something important. This quote is from John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who said one time, "Do not ask what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." And this make me realize that as the youth, we have to bring the change that we want in our countries. And this is what I will tell to every young people to say, hey guys, you have to go you have to be a volunteer, you have to go in the field, and you have to be part of the development of our countries.
Yeah, Susan.
So earlier on today, Miss Karen Wakoli, I'm not sure if she's still around, but she talked about purpose. And that's something that Fatih has talked about, that you go on a journey of self-discovery. You get to learn about yourself. You also, it gives you a pathway of your career. What is it really something that you want to continue doing? Or which part of development you want to get into? So it provides you with that. And also it provides you with a well-rounded learning experience, because you're not only learning about yourself, but you're also learning about other people and building your professional skills. So that's how I'll sell it, and that's how I sell it. And I always say, don't think about money first. The money will come later. I think that's also something that was mentioned in the morning. So that's how I sell it. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you so much. For young people, I would say that the best schools, they don't have walls, and you can join them through community service with CorpsAfrica. The best universities, they don't have boundaries, and you can join them through CorpsAfrica Exchange Volunteers. With CorpsAfrica, you will learn from different people with different experience. You will learn from communities, you will learn from volunteers, you will learn from trainers, and you will learn for yourself, you will learn for development partners. Thank you.
For me, I can say CorpsAfrica is a growing room. And if you want to grow in every aspect of life, CorpsAfrica is a good place to go. And we know there are different volunteering programs, international, but I think CorpsAfrica is unique because it gives the citizen the opportunity to serve their countries, to take part in the development of their countries. And as the theme of this conference says, youth shaping the future of Africa. And I think as young people, we are the future leaders of our countries, of our continent. And there's no way we can be the future leaders without experiencing those real issues and challenges that our community are facing. Thank you.
I've been prompted that we can take 3 questions, max. And so we want to invite 3 questions maximum from the audience. And I could do with some help. I've seen a hand here. Okay. Mustafa.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give the question. So my name is Mustafa Salai, and I am an alumni, the 2nd cohort in Malawi, the 4th cohort in Morocco. So my question is that we all agreed that CorpsAfrica has contributed a lot to shaping and transforming our future, right, and our professional career. So how, as an alumni, we can bring back to CorpsAfrica, or how can we help CorpsAfrica back? Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we have the second question?
Good afternoon. My name is Elias Kagao. I want to thank the panelists for a great storytelling. So my question to the panelists, which the founder, Liz, may also comment on at the right time is, do you get a chance to get together after service to combine the energy that you have and the experience that you've acquired so that you can create a hub that can help solve those problems that you've identified in a great manner so that we can have a big impactful results? Or maybe CorpsAfrica is planning to have such opportunities so that we solve those big problems that cannot be solved by one individual. Thank you.
Okay, just to clarify your question, you're saying that after the service, do alumni have an opportunity to come together and probably work together as a force to actually attend to other challenges? Is that a question? Right, thank you. Next question, last question.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Moi, c'est Mohamed Outal, volontaire de la CorpsAfrica Sénégal, ingénieur logiciel et analyste de données. Donc, ma question est, à la fin de votre service, quelles sont les émotions qui vous ont envahi, sachant que la fin de service est très stressant. Nous sommes là à voir comment nous insérer dans le monde professionnel et comment vous avez géré cet stress. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. So, obviously, the last question will be answered by Mamadi and Mansour first, and then the question asked by Mustafa, I would direct it to Fatiha and Tusa, and then the last question, I would give it to Ali. Sorry, the middle question, I'll give it to Aline. So, is another one? Sorry, the question about what are alumni doing after service to come together, that's the one I'm giving to you. But the question asked in French to Mamadi and Mansour. Please, can you start with the response? Tell us what the question was.
Okay, thank you so much, Tal. First of all, je voudrais commencer par vous dire qu'à la fin de votre service, ce qu'on a comme émotion, on ne peut pas la décrire. En tout cas, moi, je ne pouvais pas la décrire. Concernant notre peur à nous insérer dans le monde professionnel, sachant que nous avons développé beaucoup de skills, et nous avons beaucoup appris des communautés à travers les formations de CorpsAfrica, on se dit que, tiens, CorpsAfrica, c'est des opportunités. Parce qu'après le service, CorpsAfrica ne va pas vous abandonner. CorpsAfrica va continuer à vous accompagner, en mettant en relation, en partageant des opportunités. En plus de cela aussi, avec tout ce qu'on a gagné dans le service, on ne doit pas avoir peur. Même si l'opportunité n'est pas là, on doit aller à sa recherche, on doit la créer. Je pense que tout ira bien, il n'y a pas lieu d'être stressé et tout cela. Merci beaucoup.
Do you have a comment to add?
Yeah, at the end of my service, really, I was sad to be an alumni of CorpsAfrica because being a volunteer was the most great thing that happened to me because I was working with communities and thinking like I will return to my home without my community make me sad. And the family of CorpsAfrica also, they help us a lot. And really, at the end of my service, it was really difficult. And for opportunities, all I can advise to you is like to be patient, to apply for jobs. Because at the end of our service, I was talking with Madame Sarah Nicole, and what she said to me is, if you want to get a job, all you have to do is to work on that. Looking for a job is a job in time. Like, if you want to get a job, you have to start at 9 in the morning when you go to the office to looking for opportunities till 5 or 7, you are looking for a job. This is what you have to do. And what I can advise is to be patient, to look for great opportunities.
Thanks. Okay, Fatiha. So in response to Mustafa's question, what as alumni can we do to help CorpsAfrica?
Yes, I do believe that the end of the service with CorpsAfrica does not end by July or or May. I still have really a good relationship with my host community that I consider them as a family, and because I didn't implement the project until July last year, so we still have like monitoring and evaluation, and like from like 2 weeks to 3 weeks, I go there and check the project and check all the other stuff. So I still like consider myself volunteering with CorpsAfrica. And thanks to CorpsAfrica Maroc staff, because they are all the time like keeping us in touch, and we also like whenever there is something training, or the volunteers seek like a piece of advice or something, we're all the time ready to do so. So CorpsAfrica give us a lot, so we need, after the service, to give back again to the other volunteers and to facilitate their integration in the community.
Okay, thank you. Aline, would you like to add anything to what? Oh, sorry, so you're going to contribute, all right? Contribute to that as well, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Just to add on to what Fatih has said, I think one of the important things is to be there when our specific countries ask us to assist. So if they say we have a training and would like you to support us with this session, we should be willing to give time. It's the least we can do. We might not have the money to do projects together, but we certainly can make the time to do these things. Personally, I go to the CorpsAfrica Malawi offices quite often. I call it home because that's where my career started. So it's Kumudzi village. So it's my village, CorpsAfrica Malawi. So I always go there. So when they say, oh, Tusa, we have this going on, would you come? I always try my best to make time when I'm around. So most recently, there was the Project Demo Day, which they asked me to be one of the sharks. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Yeah, so things like that, just giving time. If you have resources to give, maybe you're running a business, a vehicle business, they're looking for transportation to various sites, and you can assist. I think just do that. Give those resources that you can, and that's a starting point to give back to CorpsAfrica because they've given us so much, as already said. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Before Aline comes in, I would also want to throw an invitation to as many alumni as possible that when volunteers or alumni tell their stories, it is more impactful than what any office staff can do. And so continue to be the ambassadors that you are. We'll be inviting you to come along with us when we are talking to development partners, to PST, to come and talk to the new set of volunteers. When they hear it from you, because you've been there, it's great. They believe you. It's very powerful. So Aline, to the question about can alumni do? Alumni come together to do anything to solve the many other challenges that society has? All right.
Thank you. I don't know about other countries, but here in Rwanda, the alumni always come together, and we even have a committee for the Rwandan chapter where we just plan to do something for our communities, and not even for our communities, even for ourselves, for the development of alumni. And the office always sponsors us. And for the personal or professional development among ourselves, I think we had different meetings about different programs where different alumni who have been selected for different programs have just advised other volunteers how they can get into those programs. For example, I have did 3 presentations about different programs that I was selected on. And fortunately, 5 of the volunteers have applied, and I think 2 of them have been selected in one of the programs. Thank you.
I think to satisfy the questioner, Papare, if you can give Liz the mic for a second to say a few words on this, since the questioner asked specifically. She's sitting right in front.
Thank you so much. Just briefly, I mean, I always say that CorpsAfrica is not going to save the world, the volunteers are going to save the world. And after their service, we do have a renewed focus to invest in the alumni and to engage them to make sure that we are using the lessons they've learned, the knowledge that they've taken, and put that together to good use, preferably, ideally, collectively, together, and engage young people, not just with other alumni, but with other people in the community, and be leaders in the world that you live in after your service. So thank you for the question.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. In closing, ensuring that our volunteers are really transformed during their volunteer service is a big deal for us. It is actually one of 4 expected outcomes of the CorpsAfrica program. One of the expected outcomes is that we create a self-sufficient rural community. Another expected outcome is that we also build a spirit of Pan-Africanism amongst the people. Then a third one is that we give visibility to communities so that they become connected to the resources of various partners. And the last one is that our volunteers become what? Transformed. So it is a big deal for us, okay? And so, if you still remember the story I told at the beginning about this little child that was socialized by this lioness, its behavior was because that is what it was exposed to. It's learned how to walk like them and behave like them. Most of the time, you can only become what you learn to do or you practice doing on a regular basis. And that is what our volunteers have been doing. I am convinced that if any youth wants to participate in shaping the future of Africa, experiences like these are a must. And I encourage all those here who have not had an experience in volunteering to take up the challenge and do so. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great panel, Mr. Kofi. I think the technical team will be there to also help. Thank you. Watch out. And I was hoping that at the end of the day we could, I know we're probably not going to have enough time, but to get some of the comments, but also what did we learn today? Because I feel like every single panel is coming back with a new goal, a new reminder on where we're driving to. However, as I have said, that this afternoon is going to be a very engaging session, and I'm hoping to get more questions. I think we've given a chance to about 4. We're going to make sure that we fast track on the questions, but we're going to host another panel. So this is to say that the people at the back will also making sure that we're going to get some of your comments as we look forward to also to hear on what you had to say. Next, we're going to welcome another panel. But before that, this is going to be another engaging session. I'll let the presenter present on this, which we have a video and a panel. And this is going to be presented or chaired by no other than Mr. Arthur Ngosi. To know who this man that is standing above you here, who he is. We just came from the northwest, we're just now in the southeast. Arthur Ngosi, he serves as the director of CorpsAfrica, Malawi. Now, ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests and fellow volunteers and change makers, Arthur is a fellow change maker. It is a great pleasure and excitement for myself to welcome him on this stage. Arthur stands before you today as a true visionary, a catalyst, and a positive changer. Arthur is the director, as I've just said, of CorpsAfrica Malawi. Arthur's journey exemplifies the transformative power of combining corporate experience with a deep commitment to social impact. With a distinguished career that spans both from the Fortune 500 companies from the US and the microfinance sector, Arthur brings wealth and expertise in a unique way in this field. And when I say unique, additionally to all this, he has been building upon his impactful tenure in the banking sector, his education journey as well that goes from the US to the UK. And not only from the US to the UK, he has also went back home to Malawi. So we look forward to getting throughout the whole cross of the world, it's not even the continent, to hear from you. So I'm going to welcome Arthur, who's going to guide us for the rest of these sessions. And he will tell us more about the video they're about to see, but also the great panel that we have right after. Arthur, if I may walk.
Saying, oh, if only we have that women just to try, even if this cooperative may fail, we want just to try. So she told me I couldn't resist, and I didn't want to leave my community behind. She wanted to be part of them. That's why.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to move on to Fanny.
First of all, allow me to thank Liz Fanny and also the board members and MasterCard for sponsoring this conference. It has been quite an exciting moment. When I was in my community, when I heard about this conference, I was so excited with my community members, knowing that we will be visited by so many people from different countries. So after having an experience at first hand, it has been it's unexplainable, I would say. I have a group whereby when something is great, we usually say it is a wow event. So I would say that this conference has been a wow event, starting from day one up to this day. We have learned a lot. It had a lot of sessions that were divided. We have heard from different people. Alumni have shared their stories. We have heard from our directors, staff. It has been quite an amazing event and quite rainful. So I would say it is a great experience, and I've been transformed throughout because I've met people from different countries. Our big bosses, I've connected with them. I've been able to make network connections. Right now, I can say that I have press in Ghana, I have press in Kenya. I've been invited to, whenever I find a chance to go there, I've been invited to visit their countries. So yeah, I would say that this conference has transformed me through the people that I've met, even through the sessions that we have learned. Thank you.
Thank you, Fanny. And just as a follow-up from that, of course, there was a lot of anxiety when I would share with the staff about this opportunity that was coming up for the all-country conference. Most people did not believe it. Is it really going to happen? Is there really going to be a conference? Did you feel the same way?
I didn't feel the same way. I believed that the conference was going to happen because of all the preparation that we've been doing since day one. We've heard about this conference. So I didn't have that anxiety that it wasn't going to happen. I knew that if this has been advertised and taught to people, definitely it has to happen. So I didn't doubt at all.
Thank you. I'm now going to move over to you, Bob. And we had you speaking a little bit earlier in a panel. And one of the things that I would like to have you share with us here in this room is, as a CorpsAfrica volunteer, going into the site, one might feel they are disconnected because it is a new site, it is a new place, you don't know the people. But then following from that, there may be a connection that happens until you feel that you are one with the communities that we serve. Could you tell us a story of a time when you experienced this?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was quite an interesting story. I remember when we finished our PST training, everyone was wondering where are we going, and I happened to be the leader of the volunteers in Rwanda, and I could see mostly girls. They were so not sure at all where they are going and if they are going to handle it. And now I happen to be a leader and I have the same problem or the same concern. Then some of them could come and speak to me. Bob, for you, are you prepared? Are you ready for the challenge? And then I was like, I can't show that I'm down, yet they are coming to speak to me. Then I said, well, sometimes we are not sure until we are sure. Then I keep on encouraging them that we are going to make it. Then, boom, we had to go in the bus, going to our sites. We reached there, you don't know anyone. Actually, it was my first time to go in a northern province. I heard people saying, when you are going to northern province, you go through Shoronji. It was my first time to climb that hill. So I reached there, I saw the climate is totally different. Then, leave alone the climate issues, I was like, where do I start now? I started thinking, remembering what we were taught in PST, trying to connect the dot and see how I will begin to discuss with my communities. And then, hopefully, something came into my mind and I was like, let me talk with my host mother. She was kind enough, so welcoming, and I asked her, do you have some meetings over the weeks for the communities? She told me, yes. Every Tuesday, we have a meeting as leaders. Then I told her, could you mind if you take me there and introduce me to them? She said, no problem. Actually, before you sleep, let's first go and see the local leader. Maybe he can help me to introduce you to the community. Still, questions were going in my mind, but she went and introduced me to the local leader. We talked, so kind, so welcoming, and I was not expecting this. As I told you earlier, I was always in the school. I have never had a chance to go in the community purposely to do something. Apart from some projects we did, I happened to be a MasterCard Foundation alumni in Makerere, and we did some projects while we were doing give back projects. And I was the one who was leading the team doing give back projects in Uganda. So that's the only chance I had to meet and at least interact shortly with the communities. Now here I have a full year with the communities. Then I went in the meeting, the local leader introduced me. I told them, everyone was curious, why is he here? What is the agenda? Then I stand up, they gave me the opportunity to talk to them. I told them who I am, how I'm a volunteer, and everyone was doubting. Don't lie to us. You are not a volunteer. The volunteers we have seen, because there are other volunteers in Rwanda, there is that program, but it is government initiatives. you don't look like them. I said, in which way? You are so, in Kinyarwanda they say, wicishije bugufi cyane ntabwo umeze nk'abavolonteri bandi, which means that you are too humble to be a volunteer. They thought that I have another agenda which is making me to be humble so that at least I will get something in the end. So they didn't believe me, but I was like, I know along the way they will get to know me. Then I explained, I said, all we do is to work with you, be here with you, always chat together and see what we can do with what is around. But to cut the story short, later they believed that surely I'm going to stay, and I'm here to stay. And they started seeing me getting involved in their activity every day, and they started believing in me. And there was this lady who happened to be my host mother. She had a strong trust in me, which led even other community members to trust me. And within 2 months, I was like a local leader as well. So everyone who knew me, I could chat with them. And what interested me so much throughout the service is the love and the connection I had with the community members. And being the person who is so much interested in youth, I could connect with them. There is this particular youth, I found him one of the things that make me not sleep, and wherever I think about it, is the future of the youth. Because someone, as a youth, I interact with many youths, but sometimes you find some are lavishing around, not caring, and you'll be like, what? Yet you have also another opportunity to meet with old people who have never made it in life, and you compare the two. Are we heading here again? I think this could be at least something different. So I connected. I always find a time with the youth. We chat. I try to mentor them. I try to tell them that, please, at least you can do some other things, but know that as the youth, you have a limited time. And the mistakes you make now, they will show up if you are a man or you are going to live a life that your people here in the village are living. And I'm glad that some youth started changing some behaviors. And the beauty about that is that when the mindset changes, it's not the person who has changed. It's just the way you look at things that changes, and the action towards that changes. So it's interesting to witness that as a person, and it inspired me so much. That's why I say that I went as a person who is going to give back, and I was instead educated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Wonderful stories. So thank you very much to Fatima, Fanny, and Bob. I want to close by sharing with you a poem that was created by a volunteer with young community members who came together to share their story and their hope. So I'm going to stand up and read, if you don't mind. In the golden hues of dawn's embrace, where untamed spirits find a place, lies a land of ancient pride, Africa, where dreams reside. The rhythms of drums echoes through the night. Under the stars, fires burning bright. As voices rise in the harmonious songs, resilient souls, resilient and strong. In every eyes, a story unfolds of triumphs, of struggles, and of tales untold. Africa, your spirit shines so bright, a beacon of hope, a guiding light, a continent blessed with diverse terrains. Africa's beauty knows no restraints. So let us celebrate this sacred place where cultures mingle, leaving no trace. For Africa, the cradle of humanity, shall forever inspire our collective destiny. And now, I crave your indulgence to talk to you about a league of young and vibrant people of this beautiful continent who have chosen to be the rainbows in the clouds of others through volunteerism with CorpsAfrica. With open hearts and empathetic eyes, they learn, they listen, embracing the cries, building trust and forging connections anew. In pursuit of a brighter continent, they step into communities diverse and rich, engaging with people, each life they enrich, identifying needs and empowering the oppressed, a catalyst of change, a different manifest. From teaching skills that are fostering growth to cultivating sustainable paths for both, they plant the seeds of knowledge and change, empowering minds to embrace wider horizons. Through infrastructure, they lay foundations strong, building schools, clinics, where dreams belong, creating safe spaces for all to thrive. But it is not just bricks and mortar they erect. They cultivate resilience, hope. They nurture unity and empower voices that never existed. Because that, after all, the hen that lays the golden egg must not be left to die. Dreams. This is the CorpsAfrica story. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, that ends our session on storytelling. We appreciate your time. Please, another round of applause to our panelists.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Arthur. And today, I know we started the conference, as we had said, with the host country, and we are honored to be joined by the Minister of Local Government, but we're also going to end it again as a full circle with the same host country. We got the honor to have, and truly privileged today, to have enlisted a good number of honorable guests today, and a number of volunteers. But allow me to not continue without before I welcome again. We've been joined by Honorable Minister of Youth, Dr. Abdallah Utumautwishima. If we could please welcome you just to salute the guests, but also we're going to welcome you later on for our closing remarks. Thank you, Minister. You're welcome. You're welcome once again. I'm pretty sure we'll have a few words to share with you the experience that we have had today and the great performances. And I know someone just said, one of the panelists, that they can't sleep when they think about the youth. And it's a great honor to now have someone who has on his agenda that he cannot sleep because of us. So we're happy to have and hear from you later on. However, we have another keynote, and this is no other than Kim Clark. A little bit about Kim. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable guests, volunteers, parents, Mr. Clark is a special advisor to CorpsAfrica. Jim has dedicated his life to making a positive impact on global scale. His impressive background volumes about his passion for change. From founding the World Technology Network, an association of the most innovative minds in science technology, and establishing first national nonprofit jobs clearinghouse, Jim has consistently sought transformative solutions. His partnership in AOL has brought the Make a Difference. Jim's commitment to the public service led him to work alongside the Clinton presidential campaign to serve as a leader of the Democratic Party and the National Task Force for America's Future. Not only he's an advocate for social impact, but he's also a performing poet and an amateur photographer. I know we have had a poet before. We have also have multiple photographers. We'll be happy to also see some of these pictures later on at your own time, whoever will get a chance to speak with Kim Clark today. But without any further ado, kindly allow me to welcome Kim on stage. You're welcome as we move forward. I know we just had lunch, so possibly we have more energy than this. May I just one more, please? Thank you so much. You're welcome. This might be better working.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Although I do perform poetry, I won't be performing poetry today. I'm going to talk about something much, much more important than my self-expression as an artist. I'm going to talk to you about the world situation, how CorpsAfrica fits in it, and your role. So I'm speaking to you today not only in my role as a strategic advisor to Liz Fanning, CorpsAfrica's founder, a person who I've been seeking to help over the last several months from New York, but I'm also, more importantly, speaking to you today as a human being, as a citizen of the world, seeking to help our world do better and be better. Much, much better. In my career, I've been involved with and been witness to many initiatives to help make the world a better place. Very few are as impressive as CorpsAfrica already is. And few have had so much potential. And I've seen so many of them. Maybe in a way we all get a little bit cynical about hearing about new initiatives these days, especially those of you who are hearing about CorpsAfrica maybe for the first time or in detail for the first time today. You can think, in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of these initiatives, and then I don't hear about them. CorpsAfrica has been operating for 10 years, perfecting its model, touching lives, using its own method, its own way of doing things to refine itself to make more of an impact. And it's having such a great impact that it's being rewarded with support, sometimes that it did not even request. I can tell you in my work, I've very rarely seen the kind of support and enthusiasm that CorpsAfrica has been getting. Before I continue, I want to honor you here in the room, particularly the volunteers, but not only the volunteers. Probably, even if you're not connected to CorpsAfrica, you're here because you do something to make the world better. So I want to honor you who do the hard necessary, and ethically glowing work to help build a better century. Ethically glowing. We feel it when we meet those people. They're not saying, "Look at my light." They're serving, and they create light, and we're drawn to their light. This room is filled with that light. In a world full of reasons to lose hope, you cause the opposite. You inspire me to want to do what is right and what is good, and to not wait for someone else to do it. What do so many young Africans ask? What will be the future of my country? What will be the future of Africa? Is there anything someone somewhere can do for my country or Africa, or perhaps that I myself can do? CorpsAfrica could be and should be the answer. I ask us, those of us who are already involved in CorpsAfrica and those of us who've become fans of CorpsAfrica today, are we ready to embrace the enormous implications of that statement? History is a combination of personal moments and societal moments. The individual moments in our lives when we get involved in addressing the needs of others in need, or simply just participating in daily life around us, can be precious and deeply important moments. But so also is the collective impact of each of us on the larger canvas of societal history. There are such a thing as societal moments. Cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed," she said, "it's the only thing that ever has." Think about that. Let me say it again. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. I dare you to look at history and tell me otherwise. We each have been given two incredible gifts: being alive and having some unknown amount of time to spend. What are some of our key obligations as human beings in the time we have available to do honor to the privilege of being alive, the privilege of being alive, to do honor to the privilege of being alive? Number one, embrace experience. Both of those words matter, not just experience. Experience, which we all know is the definition, the building block of a rich life. Experiences strung together like a string of pearls, make a rich life. But it's not just experience that's important. Embrace experience. Reach out to experience with open arms. Two, take care of our physical and our mental health so we can be there for and do not intentionally hurt the people we love. Three, be curious about how the world works and do not ignore problems we see, particularly if it involves suffering of other humans or other life. 4, recognize that we are each a key part of the interwoven fabric of society, local, national, and global, and we can only escape that recognition that we are each a key part of this interwoven fabric. We can only escape it with denial, meaning we pretend that it is not true. Therefore, we each have a final obligation to help others in our interwoven society and our interwoven world. There's a logic to those obligations. They lead in a certain direction, and to lead away from them is denial. So many of us here this afternoon have decided to give of our precious time and energy via the brilliant living mechanism of CorpsAfrica as one of the best ways possible to make a positive difference in the world. CorpsAfrica is today like a family, and that is a huge accomplishment. But it can be, and I would argue needs to be, a social movement recognized across Africa and the world. What's a social movement? A social movement becomes a social movement when it reaches a critical point that creates a significant shift in public consciousness. Listen carefully to these words. This shift often takes place when the heartbeat of the movement syncs with the pulse of the masses. The heartbeat of the movement syncs with the pulse of the masses. CorpsAfrica is therefore, for so many reasons, the right organization in the right place at the right time. By the way, remember, movements don't need to desperately market themselves. Their vision, the cause, the progress, is so right, so magnetic, so compelling, that it sells itself. People move their bodies, they move their energy, they volunteer for that cause. Consider this. By the year 2050, Africa will comprise around a quarter of the world's population. By 2100, which will come sooner than we might imagine, that number is expected to rise to nearly 40%, over 4 billion people, which at the end of the century will be about the same as all of the countries of Asia combined. A significant proportion of this massive population, more than any other region of the world, will be Africa's youth, the future leaders and changemakers. It is in your hands and those millions of young people who will one day learn from you that Africa's destiny lies. In your hands that Africa's destiny lies. Look around you. This gathering is not just another group. It is the beginning of a Pan-African transformation. You are the pioneers of this epic journey for Africa that will rewrite the history of the world. Rewrite the history of the world. CorpsAfrica in the coming years has the potential to be the first choice for countless African young people wanting to make a difference, to be a part of something larger than themselves, to develop themselves, and to contribute to a beautiful shared future. And we can each be ambassadors to ensure that CorpsAfrica is their first choice. Before I continue, I just want to ask a question, and I want to hear from every one of you. Are you willing to spread the word? Are you? Let me hear it. Let's everyone hear it. Good. Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." That's exactly what CorpsAfrica and the hundreds of volunteers do every day. Defy impossibility and just get stuff done. Our objective is to turn potential into action, project by project, village by village, nation by nation, and of course, for the magnificent continent of Africa overall. Together, we are CorpsAfrica. We are the change. We are the hope. The moments of this week at this multi-day CorpsAfrica All-Country Conference, and today, this special day, may just be a few separate, although very impactful moments. However, someday, in the future, looking back, if, a big if, we work creatively and we live courageously and we aspire to fulfill the full promise of this extraordinary family, we may each see this moment as a crucial moment in the history of our life, in the history of Africa, and in the history of the world. I'd like to ask a favor of you. Let's each close our eyes and take a few seconds. Close your eyes. Take a few seconds to carve the full weight of that idea into your memory, that this may be one of those moments. Now open your eyes, please, and look at me. Welcome to the CorpsAfrica movement. This, right here, right now, is what it feels like. This 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 is what it feels like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clark. If I could say one thing, again, I've been taking notes all through the session. I'll be sharing the meeting minutes. There have been a lot of great ideas shared, and if I could just name a few of the quotes that I've been able to capture. One was, defy the impossibilities and get things done, which I loved, and we're all gathered here by the youth, which when we look, we're all surrounded by impossibilities, and it's get out of the fear that we have and get things done. There's also the live creatively and innovatively, and this can only get us to the core of CorpsAfrica and the vision to transform the continent. However, when I was sitting back there, someone just mentioned that some of the speakers who speak in Rwanda were not able to capture the full length of the conversations. And just to share with them, if you may allow me, I'll just say a few words of what we have captured today in order to share with them in Kinyarwanda. Babyeyi mwateraniye hano, kuri bamwe batubwiye ko batabashije gukurikira neza insanganyo z'ibiganiro twagiye tugira, twagira ngo tubasangize ku magambo make ibyo twakuyemo cyangwa ibyaganiriwe. Muri bimwe byavuzwe, byaba mu biganiro twagize, abapanelists twagize, yaba kuri abaminisita babashije kuvuga, muri bimwe bavuze icya mbere kutirengagiza ibibazo bidukikije twe nk'urubyiruko, gukoresha ibyo dufite tukabibyazamo umusaruro twishakira ibisubizo. Baravuga bati ubufasha, batubwira ko hari n'ubufasha igihugu kiduha, yaba ari mu mategeko, yaba ari mu buyobozi bwiza, nabyo twabikoresha. Barongera batubwira ati kongera ubumenyi birakenewe no gutanga inyigisho zigendanye n'aho tugeze kugira ngo tubashe kwishakira ibisubizo. barongera bati guhorana ubumuntu nicyo cya mbere kuko nicyo kiduha urukundo. Ubwo kandi murakoze namwe ku byo mwaharaniye kugira ngo tubashe kubona abana babashe kuvamo aba volunteers bo muri CorpsAfrica. Ikindi bavuze bati dukomeze kwicisha bugufi. Icya karindwi cyari gukora tutikorera kandi dutekereza ku mugabane atari ku gihugu cyacu gusa. So thank you, murakoze cyane. So without going any further ado, which I think for the French speakers you've been able to follow either through the translation, either the different headsets, otherwise we'll be happy to as well summarize for a bit. However, without any further ado, it has been a long day, and we cannot end the day without having the closing remarks. And this is going to be from two important people, but mostly Liz, that will also introduce the last speaker. Liz Fanning, if I may welcome you for the closing remarks. Thank you.
Hi again, esteemed guests, Honorable Minister of Youth, welcome. CorpsAfrica volunteers, staff, board members, and alumni. As we come to the end of this momentous all-country conference, I am profoundly moved by the collective wisdom, passion, and commitment that I've witnessed. First and foremost, and yet again, I want to express my deepest appreciation to our CorpsAfrica volunteers, who are true champions of change. Your unwavering dedication to service, your tireless efforts in communities across Africa, and your boundless enthusiasm for making a difference are awe-inspiring. You are the heartbeat of CorpsAfrica, and your commitment and sacrifice have directly led to our success. When we are in the room with you, we are in the room with heroes. To our incredible staff, To our incredible staff and board members, thank you for your unwavering support, guidance, and strategic vision. Your tireless work behind the scenes has ensured the success of this conference and the sustainability of this organization, and yes, this movement. To our esteemed alumni, your presence here has reminded us of the lasting impact of CorpsAfrica's programs. Your continued dedication to community development, your embodiment of the CorpsAfrica spirit, and your unwavering commitment to uplifting others are an inspiration to us all. You are living proof that the CorpsAfrica experience is not just a chapter in a volunteer's life, but the start of a lifelong commitment to creating positive change. And to our distinguished guests, and I extend my heartfelt appreciation for joining us at this conference. Your expertise, insights, and diverse perspectives have enriched our discussions and set a powerful example for everyone here today. Your presence is a testament to our shared belief in the potential of African youth to shape the future of the continent. This conference has been a true testament to the spirit of Pan-Africanism. As we close this gathering, let us carry the inspiration and commitment back to our communities. The work ahead may be challenging, but with the collective determination and resilience present in this room, I have no doubt that we will surmount any obstacle that stands in our way, including the lights. Last but not least, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our partners, sponsors, and the All-Country Conference Committee for making this conference a resounding success. The impact of this conference extends far beyond these walls. It lives within us, within our communities, and within the hearts of the countless individuals we will touch with our work. Together, we will continue to create ripples of change that will shape Africa's futures for generations to come. Here's what I ask of you. Volunteer. If you are a young African, 21 years or older, with a wonderful heart and a desire for a better future, make sure to apply and tell others to apply to be CorpsAfrica volunteers. Remember, we are the ones we have been waiting for. Donate, introduce us to partners and funders. Be a partner, work with us, hire the alumni, mentor the volunteers and alumni, collaborate and share, and spread the word about CorpsAfrica. Help us reach millions. Thank you once again for joining us. As I leave here today, filled with renewed determination, inspired by your commitment, and confident that the future we envision is within our grasp. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. And that was a great closing message. Now, we have one last closing speech from Honorable Dr. Abdallah Utumatwishima, our Minister of Youth of the Government of Rwanda. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow youth advocates, parents, it is a great pleasure and excitement that I welcome on stage Honorable Minister Dr. Abdallah as a dynamic and visionary leader who embodies the essence of youth. The energy, the empowerment, the passion for youth that he carries extends far beyond his role as minister. He actively engages with young people, listens in their aspirations, and works and tirelessly ensure the voices are heard at the highest levels of government. As someone had said, they can't sleep because of the youth, so this is just an embodiment that sleep without the youth will not be possible. We thank you, Mr. Honorable Minister. We have the honor to welcome you, and as a true champion of the youth empowerment, driving force behind the government's effort to create a better future for the Rwandan youth. His presence here today serves as an inspiration to all of us. I think at the beginning, Liz had mentioned, may we be open to be inspired today. We welcome you today as a closing remark and looking forward to be inspired by his speech. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Mwiriwe. Ndashaka kubanza gusuhuza ababyeyi barimo hano n'abantu baturutse muri community. Mwiriwe. Before I give my remarks in English, permit me to speak in Kinyarwanda for the parents. Nagira ngo mbanze nshimire ababyeyi mwatumiwe guherekeza abana banyu. Nanabwiwe ko harimo n'abantu bo mu mudugudu muri community aho abana bakora, aho urubyiruko ruba ruri. Nagira ngo rwose mbashimire ko mwitabiriye, nshimire na CorpsAfrica yabahaye umwanya. Nkeka ko ari isomo natwe twize muri leta, aho duhura n'urubyiruko tuzajya tugira umwanya tuganire n'ababyeyi nabo, numva ari ibintu byiza cyane. Ikintu gikomeye ibi byerekana nuko ubukorerabushake abana cyangwa se urubyiruko barimo kujyamo ubu, nagira ngo nibutse ababyeyi n'urubyiruko n'abanyarwanda turi kumwe ko igihugu cyacu burya igihugu dufite imyaka 29 twibohoye cyavuye mu maboko y'ubukorerabushake. Ngira ngo ababizi mu mateka mu myaka ya za 80 ubwo abanyarwanda bateranaga, abari impunzi, abari urubyiruko bari bato, bagafata gahunda yo kubohora u Rwanda, bakabikora bavunitse. Imyaka 4 abari bato baretse amashuri ba nyakubahwa perezida wa repubulika bari bakiri urubyiruko ntawabahembaga kandi bahuye n'ibibazo bikomeye mu guhagarika jenoside yakorewe abatutsi, na nyuma yaho igihugu kimaze kubohorwa kidafite ikintu bagakomeza gukora badahembwa, bari abakorerabushake. Kugira ngo umuco rero turi gutoza urubyiruko, umuco abana mubatoza mukabohereza, ntabwo ari umuco mushya mu Rwanda, ni umuco w'igihugu cyacu. Nagira ngo rwose mbibashimire. I have been informed that in the room we have Honorable Kojo Opong Kruma, Minister of Information from the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Nana Kwasi Ajekon, the Head of Civil Service of Ghana, Martha Kwataine, the Special Advisor of the President of Malawi, Liz, thank you very much for great speech, and thank you for CorpsAfrica initiation. And I've been informed also of the President of Ambassadors, Moro Koudia, PS, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth in Senegal, CorpsAfrica board members from Morocco, Senegal, Malawi, Rwanda, Kenya, and Ghana. We have a big Rwanda team here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. I want to express my gratitude for the organizers, participants, and speakers for this active engagement that you have exhibited in this conference. This is a great platform for discussing the crucial role of youth in shaping the future of Africa. Thank you, CorpsAfrica Board. Thank you, CorpsAfrica Rwanda Chapter. Thank you, the Ministry of Local Government, for facilitating the work of youth volunteers in Rwanda. Every young person, whether graduate, at school, even in the community, Helsinki International People's College. In that school, I was surprised to find young people between 18 and 24 years old, and we were taught how to become a volunteer. But there were other courses. We had to learn the African drama and dance, the African studies, public communication, writing skills. We also had to study understanding Africa, understanding Europe, understanding Asia. And there was a course about understanding community and environmental studies. One of the best courses that we had was intercultural understanding skills. CorpsAfrica is one of the examples where the African communities get together, they understand their culture, but they work together for the good of the community. So when I was young, that time, at the end of the course, when I came back to University of Rwanda, we started to go to the communities in Ihuye, in Ibutare, to try to work with the community about how to build the toilets, clean the roads, just to try to participate in the community work. From there, I started to understand that there is a life at university, there is a life at the school, but also there's a different life in the community. And the young person, it is a complete education if you combine school life and the community life with your engagement. So CorpsAfrica Youth Volunteers Program in Rwanda, it is the best platform we can try to build strongly because it completes our education system. When I graduated from medical school, I went to work at the Ruhengeri Hospital. So people here know the place. And I worked in the operating room. I worked in surgery. And most of the patients who were coming, they had intestinal obstructions or intestinal perforation secondary to typhoid fever, if you guys know that. And most of the causes of these diseases is hygiene, poor hygiene. And from there, I also participated in youth volunteership work through the youth organization, what we call the National Youth Council. And from there, when we go to community work, participating in different weekend activities with the youth, you can get the sense of what is happening in the community. And maybe you can bring a public health intervention to the community and you reduce the consequences of your patients. So I believe that whatever the career you have, whatever your background, whatever your area of education. When you're in a community, you can work with others to bring a solution. And the volunteership, I think, participates a lot in terms of economy to the government. Because by bringing solutions to community, you reduce the health risks, you reduce diseases, you participate in the prevention, and many dollars a government must spend are saved. So volunteership is really also an income-generating activity for the government. So we need to embrace it as a critical tool for the development. What I have seen when you are developing young people and you tell them that they will become leaders, it is very hard when you graduate, for example, from Harvard, you come right from the US as a young African graduate, and you come in the Ministry of Youth, or you come in the Ministry of ICT. It's hard for you at the high level table when the people are discussing policies, you will not be able to bring tangible solutions to the communities because you've been absent from the community for a period of time. So it's better when you are in those high-end universities, when you take some time when you graduate to go to your communities and learn what is happening in the community. Yes, there is the fourth industrial revolution. Yes, there is artificial intelligence. Yes, there's robotics. Yes, of course. There are people without toilets. There are people without clean water. There are people without a roof. We have families where the pyramid of Maslow is still at the base. No shelter, no food, no basic infrastructure. Even if you are highly graduated, coming from a wealthy family, take time to go to the community. So when you go to the ministry level, when you go to the high-level decisions, you will think of your high-level people, but also the community people, and you will build an eco-society. I think that is something very critical if we really embrace it. And as I have told you my journey from the medical school as a medical doctor, now I am a minister, so you can get the idea how the volunteership has shaped my journey to this position. So young people here, volunteers, never retire, never graduate from volunteership until you are not here only, you can be something else. But as I have seen, our president, our chief volunteer, has never graduated from volunteership. He's still doing it. So never graduate from volunteership. It's something you do for life. It's something that Liz is still doing, and she will still do it because it is a really hurtful feeling. So we have to continue this work. So as a volunteer, you learn different things. First, you get out of the comfort zone. Someone said that better life starts when you get out of the comfort zone. So that's one of the lessons that you learn when you become a volunteer. When you become a volunteer, you develop humble behaviors. You learn how to boil water to drink. We have seen it on the video. Life without electricity and the tarmac road. Humility is a precious behavior that a volunteer learns. When things get tough, a volunteer doesn't accuse anybody. A volunteer doesn't blame, and a volunteer doesn't complain. With the community, a volunteer finds solutions. They sit together in a place, they do the fishbone analysis, they understand the root cause of an issue, they come up with a solution, they try it, they fail, they try again, but they find a solution, and they party after they succeed. So those are volunteers. Lastly, volunteers became great leaders. When you are with volunteers who've been to those remote areas, when you are discussing a policy, they have good points. They remember things that we don't remember because they have been there recently. They know what we are talking about. When you say that the road is okay, the bridges are fine, they will tell you no. Actually, the bridge has been broken last week. You were wrong. So then the volunteers, they have information. So As the Minister of Youth, I've seen that the volunteers are also successful entrepreneurs and job creators. Why? Because in the community, they know the problems that are there. They can find solutions that can be marketable. And because the community knows you, that you are a humble young man, young woman, they can buy from you. So the volunteers are good job creators and they're good entrepreneurs. So I want here to assure that the government of Rwanda, under the championship of the Ministry of Local Government and ourselves, the Ministry of Youth, we are encouraging all Rwandan youth to join volunteership program, whether in CorpsAfrica or in our local volunteership program. What I can ensure is that we are going to work with the CorpsAfrica to borrow your model of training, your training model. And if possible, with working with our universities and the training hubs, why not having a training hub here in Rwanda where we can be sending our volunteers to learn how you do things? Because I have seen the videos, I have received them in my office, your model is a successful model, and we have to learn from it. So we also would like to work with your alumni and some young people the alumni of CorpsAfrica here in Rwanda, but also across Africa. They can become our mentors, our trainers, if the hub is available. You can help us to train our local volunteers. We aim to have 2 million Rwandan youth volunteers, but as it will be a big number, we will need trainers, because your model of going to the field, working with the community, leaving the comfort of the city and go to the village, that model works. We have a big challenge of hygiene that we need to teach our people, but you can't teach people hygiene by PowerPoint presentation. You need to live with them in the house. You wash your body every day. You show them how to clean the dishes, and you stay with them for 2-3 months, and they learn the culture. So this, we have to build the people. So I think we will learn your model, we will keep working together, and we will support in our capacity. So I want to thank the African colleagues to grace this event. Thank you, the ambassadors. Thank you, Liz, for your great work. And more importantly, thank you to all of the volunteers. Murakoze.
That was amazing. Let this be the official closing of the 2023 CorpsAfrica All-Country Conference. Safe travels to all, and may our paths cross again as we continue to make impact, one volunteer and one community at a time. Thank you.
Apologies, probably before we leave, if I could please welcome honorable ministers for our picture with the leads and the volunteers. If I may please welcome Honorable Minister of Information in Ghana, Honorable Minister of Youth of Rwanda, Honorable Dr. Abdallah, Honorable Nana, Head of Civil Service of Ghana, Ms. Martha, Special Advisor of the President of Malawi, as well as Liz. If I could please welcome you on stage. Additionally, if I could please have all volunteers from the 6 countries. We have Senegal, Morocco, Malawi, Kenya, Ghana, and Rwanda. Juste encore pour vous demander à tous les volontaires venant de ces 6 pays si on peut prendre une photo avec les ministres ainsi que Lise. On va juste aller vers le derrière sur le panel. So I welcome you to go at the back on the panel to take the pictures. This goes to the volunteers, if I could repeat again, Malawi, Rwanda, Morocco, Senegal, Kenya, and Ghana. You're welcome. If protocol could also help us to show them how to stage. Thank you so much.